Great. So we have Mansi here, and Mansi has cleared her IELTS test finally, and she's all excited to go to London to pursue her dream into studying post graduation, doing her post graduation in the field of psychology. So Mansi, at first I would like to congratulate you, and if you can briefly tell you about your journey of preparation for IELTS, how did you prepare? How did you go about going for different sections? We can start with listening, then reading, then writing, then speaking. So let's discuss about that. So how did you prepare for each of the sections? How about listening?
First of all, thank you very much. It was your wonderful guidance that helped me a lot. Listening, I would say, as you told me, like how many words you get connected. Like you think this can be also the answer and this can be also the answer. Write it down. And after, when you are putting down the answers on the answer sheet, you can see if this is fitting perfectly or not, and then you can write that. But that helped me very much because you don't get to listen one more time, so you
Mm-hmm,
have the options ready with you which can be suited for the sentence. So that
mm-hmm,
was something I sort of the difference I found out, because in 4 5 questions that was something confusing. So
mm-hmm,
that was one helpful in listening. And as you listen, pin it down, or writing everything also must be helpful. Not everything, like specific sentence words, I would
mm-hmm.
say. Then as you listen, you can write it down.
Yeah.
That is one
So
thing.
how many tests of listening did you do when you were practicing? Did you do some full tests? How did you go about preparing for listening?
Yeah,
You must
I
have.
did full test. I think doing practice of listening is very important, because you think it is easy, but after the 20th question, it starts the difficulty level.
Mm-hmm,
So doing the complete test and getting that exhaust, that is much needed. So you
mm-hmm,
need that practice. I think I did 4 5, more than 4 5 tests, because continuous practice was required, as you told me. Like
mm-hmm.
if you are not scoring till 40, you have to do that test again.
Yes, yes, yes. Doing the same test multiple times actually helps a great
Yeah.
deal because it gives you a chance to know where you are going wrong and what kind of traps do these examiners lay for you. So, yeah, that was great. Let's come to reading now. So, how did you prepare for reading and what changes did you incorporate in your reading part?
Yeah, reading was something I was very weak at. Like it was not a normal reading as you do in your school, where you can just find out the specific word and you just can write the answers. But here it was something very difficult. You have to go for synonym, antonyms. Uh, the first go I was like in first practices, I was going through question to then passage. Like in the question, you find some difficult word. You can see that that word in the passage, but you don't get it. So you start searching down and down, and that times get wasted over there. But as you guided me that you can go from passage to question, it was much helpful. As you know, the questions are in the series, so you can
Mhm.
read one paragraph and go to the question. At least you will answer one or two questions from the first paragraph, and with
Right.
that help I was able to complete all the questions.
Oh, that is great. So you were able to finish all the questions, all 40 questions in 1 hour. And how much did you score in reading this time?
I scored 6.5.
Oh, great, great, great. So you got the required scores and you
Yeah,
cleared it. And I think you prepared for what, 3 weeks, somewhere around 3 weeks?
yeah, 3 weeks. I
Okay.
attended listening also, reading and
Mhm.
writing also. And before the speaking test, I called you up. You told me you just need to answer every question.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's an easy test, but then it requires a bit of practice. And I think the right strategies, the right mindset, like for example, in case of reading, if you simply read the question and go back to the passage, it is very easy to get distracted or to read a lot and not figure out the right answer. But reading one paragraph at a time makes a lot of sense. And
I
congratulations to you. You did well.
That
Yeah.
jumble was more made by the YouTubers that
Mm-hmm.
scream the question and go to the passage. They created that stuff in our head, and that created something buzz which I couldn't get it. But after you
Yeah.
guided me, after I solved the problems, I got to know that this is working for me. And if you
Yeah.
solve the multiple times the reading section, you will get to know what is the trap you are getting caught into and what are
Yeah,
the wrong answers you are getting into.
yeah. Great, great, great. What about writing? So, how did you prepare for writing, and how much did you score in writing?
Writing, I had around seven.
You
Seven I
reached
got.
some. Great, great, great. 7 in writing is a fantastic score. So, you used to write the essays and the graph, or how did you go about preparing for writing?
I have not written any essays, not even one essay.
Oh,
I
that's
just read the Cambridge book, the content you provided. Like if you read that multiple times, you get the idea what you have to read, what you have to
okay.
write.
Yeah, yeah. So it is
You
more
just
about understanding the template and applying it.
yeah.
You don't really need to write all the time. I mean, not saying that writing is a bad practice. Of course, it makes you very fast and it helps you to see how quickly you generate ideas. But I think what you're trying to say is that before writing, it is important to read a lot of content so that those templates get fixed in your mind and you can apply them. So even without writing, one can write by understanding the templates.
And nothing use of like fancy English language, nothing. You can go with the normal language. Just they need to see like everything is covered or not.
Yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right. People think that they have to impress the examiner with some heavy words and all that. And I think that is not required at all. So great. Once again, congratulations to you. And seven in writing is definitely commendable. It's a very good score. Okay. Now coming to the last part, which is speaking. I think you speak well and generally you express yourself very nicely. So was there any special preparation you did for speaking?
I think you need to do a special preparation because at the time you don't understand what all things you have to speak. Because
Mm-hmm.
if the examiner asks you something about, you know very well about it, but you get stuck. You don't remember the things. So you
Mm-hmm.
can ask examiner for a minute also, like I did so. Like
Right.
I was speaking, but the time was not going. So I have
Yeah.
to like think again. So I asked the examiner, can I just take a minute? So he told yes, and you can then think over it. So you can frame many sentences that are for a minute, and you can start speaking again.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So you asked the examiner to pause and so that you could recollect all the thoughts and then you spoke. Oh wow, that's great. That's great. And I think yeah, it's a very important thing. It is not important that you should always be very spontaneous. It is always good to ask for a little time, maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds to gather all your thoughts and structure them in a nice way. And I think this kind of boldness and this kind of assertiveness is required that
Yeah.
sometimes people feel a little um I mean, they feel underconfident to ask for time. They think that, oh, they have to produce everything there and then. But then you asked for. Hmm.
Speaking and you just stuck around. That is more like not correct,
Mhm.
but it is correct if you ask for a minute. That is more
Yeah,
presentable thing.
yeah.
And
To be
why?
specific, which part of the question was that 2 minutes part
Yeah.
that you asked for? Okay. So the
No, I
second
have
section.
minutes. I think it was something around at the third part.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. That's great. And how much did you score in speaking?
Speaking also 7 or 6.5. 6.5,
Seven,
right?
6.5. Okay. But that is what you wanted. You got all the scores that are
Yeah.
required for your admission there in UK and you are going. Have you sorted the college where you want to go?
Yeah. Application process has been in the process. So
Which
by the
college
end
are
of
you going to?
Queens, Kingston, West London, and City of London.
Oh, great. London is a cold place. You have to go with a lot of clothes there, right?
Yes.
So when is your session starting?
I have taken September intake, 23 September.
Okay. So you have got good 7, 8 months to stay here in India right now. Okay. All right. So congratulations to you, Mansi. Anything else that you would like to convey to people who are preparing for IELTS, and if you can share some techniques, anything which really worked for you, like how do you focus at the time of doing reading? It is very easy to get distracted. There's so much content. Anything that you would like to share?
Yeah, I would say for speaking first, like much more required is confidence. How you walk in, how you speak.
Mm-hmm.
I- In starting, also in starting only, you are not that confident. The examiner gets into it that gone. You're only you are
Mm-hmm.
gone 50%. So first,
Yeah.
speaking confidence required. And
Yes.
I would suggest to practice listening, writing, and reading continue so that you can contain that strength and that
Mm-hmm.
exhaust because at the end of the reading you are totally exhausted.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Complete like 3.5 hours you are there, and once you enter the exam hall you are not allowed to go back, even the
Yeah.
washroom is not there. So you need to practice that continuous 3 hours. If you can
Yeah.
contain that stress and that and complete the questions, you are well to good. And you
Mm-hmm.
need a lot of practice for this.
Right, right. So building that stamina to stay focused for 3 hours without any break is important. That एक वो meditation वाली चीज होती ना कि
Yeah.
बंदा एक जगह बैठ गया तो 3 घंटे तक उठेगा ही नहीं. So that kind of stuff, I think, with practice it can be developed.
Yes.
Great, great, great. You also told me that you made a switch from commerce to psychology. So
Yes.
that is interesting, and you are now going to become a psychologist after doing your BCom. So this is one more thing. How did you discover that you are made for studying psychology and not commerce?
It was within me only because I required it. As we were saying, the young generation are more into like depressions kind of shade, because I was into a commerce field because of my brother. I
Hmm.
thought it would be a fancy field and I could chill and all do go get a good job and everything. But when I entered the field, I found out this is not what I required.
Hmm.
This
I
is
think you
not something
made, yeah,
me.
you made the switch at the right time, and there is the
Yes.
whole, your whole life is there to explore and do things which you love rather than doing something which somebody else suggested. So great. All the very best to you, Mansi. This was fantastic. All the best to you. Bye bye.
Thanks for your guidance. That was much more required and needed. That made me this score.
You're welcome and all the best. If you need any help, I'm there. All the best
Thank
to you.